Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. You can see I am sitting here with my morning cup of coffee. I say coffee because I lived in New York my whole life, but now I'm down here in Florida, and I wake up every day to a nice, hot, warm cup of coffee. So today I decided it would be a great idea to pop on and talk a little bit about the benefits of caffeine that you may or may not be aware of. So, about 80% of Americans start their day with some sort of caffeinated beverage, whether it's a hot coffee, a cold coffee, a tea, a pop soda, something with caffeine to give them a boost through the day. And caffeine, though, sometimes has such negative consequences. And I wanted to explain a little bit about the research I've done on caffeine to share with you some of the benefits of it you may not be aware of. So we think about caffeine, and often we think about sleeping and maybe having our heart race a little bit, and those can definitely be some negative consequences of caffeine if we are taking too much of it. However, caffeine is actually really good for you if you take the right dosage. And I wanted to share some of the benefits. So we're gonna get into the video, and I'm going to explain the research behind caffeine, what I have learned, and how you can use it to take advantage of those many benefits. So let's get started. But before I begin, I want to speak about what caffeine actually is and how it works in the body. So there is something called adenosine, which our body produces. And that is the chemical, the neurotransmitter that makes us feel lethargic throughout the day. So if you've ever had that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock slump, you know what I'm talking about. So caffeine's main effect is on the brain, and it helps to inhibit the effect of adenosine. So that means within 20 minutes of taking caffeine, whatever it is, you're gonna feel that natural boost in energy. So overall, caffeine can be very good for your brain, for productivity, and for focus. And I think that's why a lot of us love it so much. So I am like everyone else out there. I absolutely have to start my day with a nice hot cup of coffee. It's a very important morning ritual for me. Not only does the caffeine give me a little boost, but it lets me settle in, focus on what I have to accomplish during the day. I like to have my coffee at home because I honestly can't fathom the idea of going to a coffee shop and spending $7 to $10 for a cup of coffee or a cappuccino or whatever fancy term is out there nowadays. So I've been drinking this amazing coffee from Trade, and it's a subscription service. So I get freshly ground coffee delivered right to my door. And it's really yummy. I can smell it. It smells delicious. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to brew. So first of all, I wanna say that they have a quiz you can take online. It literally takes 1 minute, and it will pick out the perfect coffee for you. If for any reason you're not satisfied with that coffee, you can return it and they'll make you a new coffee for your preference. So I took the quiz, and right here is my favorite. I love it. It's full-bodied, it has brown sugar, and it has some dark chocolate. A little taste of that, a little hint. So I like to make my coffee before I go to bed at night, or right after I clean up in the morning. So we're gonna do that now. This way I have my little timer and it's all set. So all I do is put about a cup. I have to smell it. It wakes me up just smelling it. It smells so good. And then I put it in, it's all nicely ground, and I set my timer, and I'm all set for the next day. So Trade is the #1 specialty coffee marketplace. They have over 50 of the country's top roasters that provide coffee. So there's a huge selection, and there are also over 450 different blends. So guys, if you're a coffee drinker like me, you're gonna love Trade. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering my subscribers 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/Janine. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Janine for 40% off your first order. drinktrade.com/Janine. So let's get into some of the benefits of caffeine. Caffeine is known to help mood and brain function. So we're all familiar with that little jolt when we have some caffeine, but it's sending signals to the brain and it's helping to increase our focus and our mental clarity. And that's one of the reasons why when we have an important task, we tend to drink some caffeine, and we notice that it definitely helps us with that. There's also a ton of studies out there, so if you're interested in the topic of caffeine, I suggest you go research it, look it up on your own. But I've been reading that there is an indirect correlation between caffeine and depression. People that drink caffeine tend to have better moods and don't go into depression as often. Now that said, I also want to preface this by making sure I mention that there is a cap on the amount of caffeine you should be consuming on a daily basis. And that cap is about 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. So the typical morning coffee will have anywhere from 90 milligrams to 160 milligrams. And then we also can get caffeine through some of the foods that we're eating. So I want to make sure everyone's aware of this. Obviously, you know that if you're consuming too much caffeine, that can also pose potential health risks. But the good news is for the caffeine lovers out there, it's not all bad, and there's some really, really good benefits. So you should go ahead and you should enjoy. Now, I do want to mention when it comes to coffee that we want to be aware, obviously, of what we're putting in our coffee. So there's some really, really great low-fat options out there. Please don't have those heavy creamers. Don't add a ton of sugar. What I like to do is I like my coffee black, but I do like sugar in the raw, which is basically more of a raw form of sugar. There's also stevia, which is another great sugar alternative. And then if you do like your coffee on the lighter side, you can always add some skim milk or 1% low-fat milk. So the other really wonderful benefit of caffeine is that it can help to boost metabolism and promote fat loss, and don't we all love that idea? The average American gains about 2.2 pounds per year. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you add that up cumulatively over 10 years, you're up 20 pounds. So that's not a good thing. Now, a cup of coffee can burn up to 79 calories on a daily basis. So that again doesn't seem like a very significant amount, but if you use that benefit and offset it with our average annual weight gain, you can see that it will even it out. So definitely caffeine is helpful for getting that metabolism and everything in the body working and help to promote fat loss. Another fabulous benefit of caffeine, which I personally love because you all know how into fitness I am, is that caffeine can help improve athletic performance. So it helps with the muscle contractions, it helps with endurance. And so by drinking caffeine, a lot of people have some caffeine in their pre-workouts. That will help you perform better in any sort of cardio or any sort of weight training exercise. There are also a lot of benefits on the heart. So again, caffeine, even though a lot of people talk negatively about it in high dosages, of course, we understand that, but at the right amount, like everything else in life, everything in moderation, caffeine has some really, really good benefits. And I wanted to get on here today to talk about that because I think a lot of us feel guilty when we have caffeine. It's almost like a no-no. Now, I know also some of us are more sensitive to caffeine than others. Just like everything else, this is all based on an individual level. So I really just encourage you to look at when you're consuming your caffeine, what you're consuming it with, and how it's fitting into your daily lifestyle. I know there are a lot of people out there that caffeine negatively impacts them after a certain time of the day. Fortunately, I'm not one of them. I can be out to dinner and I can have a cappuccino before I come home and I go to bed and I'm completely fine. But I know that I'm more of the rarity than the norm. So again, these are all things to take into consideration. But don't forget, guys, caffeine can be great. Mental clarity, it's going to help with heart disease, it's going to help to just get you better physical performance, and also boost metabolism. So many, many benefits. I hope you found the video helpful. Please share this video with any coffee lovers so they don't feel guilty when they have their caffeine. And just if you have any comments, please drop them down below. I'd love to hear how you experience caffeine and what benefits you've received as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm about to head out soon, and I'll see you all again soon.